This video is a continuation of the series API project, that is a backend where we're using MongoDB as a database. We are also using Mongoose to connect the database to the backend. And right now we're gonna be using JSON Web Token with BCRYPT. So we're gonna hash our password, and to do that, if you have seen the previous video, you can check out the code, but I'm gonna go to my folder. I have a folder named Express. Inside of that I have a folder named API, so I'm gonna right click here, open in terminal, and I'm gonna code space that so I can open it in Visual Studio Code. Now I'm gonna press Ctrl tilde so I can have my incorporated terminal here. I can close this one, and yeah, if you go to my channel and check out API project, you can check out those videos. Is all this project here where we have a backend with the configuration. This is the database inside where we connect our application to MongoDB using Mongoose. We also have the controllers. In this case, I only have one controller, that is my example controller. I have model, I only have one model, one route, and my server here. So I have my package.json, my scripts are tests and examples, and I have a file .env. So this is my port, and this is my MongoDB connection URI. So I have it here. This is my MongoDB. Again, if you're kind of lost, you can check out this video. So, but right now, what we are gonna do is we're gonna open it. So since we can go to the package.json, and I have a script, so I can run npm run, and I can choose tests or examples. If I type in examples, I'm gonna be running Notman, so I'm gonna press enter, and let me see what happened here. npm run, oh, what the npm run examples. Okay, so let's see what happens. And okay, this is starting on port 8000, and also as you can see here, it's connected to MongoDB. So I'm gonna go to localhost 8000, so it's gonna be localhost 3, well, it's not 3000, it's gonna be 8000. It's gonna be 8000 like that, and it's gonna be API slash example. So this is my route. Let me see how many. Okay, so this is gonna be examples. Okay, it's not example, it's examples. Okay, so it's empty. Okay, so it's working at least. So what I'm gonna do right now is I want to open Postman, and I have a video to how to install it, but pretty much you just grab it and install it for Windows or Mac. Okay, so I have here. Okay, so right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new file and routes. So I want to have two routes. One is gonna be example routes, and the other is gonna be user routes. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go into my server, and okay, I'm gonna go below to the line 15. I can close this one, and in line 16 I'm just gonna do the same app.use. I'm gonna open parentheses, I'm gonna pass in my API, so it's gonna be API slash, and this time it's gonna be users, because we're gonna have user that is gonna have a name, an email, and a password. And that password, at first you can see what numbers, what letters are typing in, but then we're gonna use BCRYPT to hash that password, so it's gonna be hard to decipher. So now I have that. What else? I'm gonna put okay, I need to put comma and then require. So I'm gonna require, and it's gonna be, let me see, it's gonna be in, okay, and it's gonna be in routes. It's gonna be in routes, and it's gonna be users route. I'm gonna name it. I don't have it, but I'm just gonna name it like that. So I'm gonna save it. And okay, it's crashing because I don't have this file yet, but so we have this API users, and it's gonna be in the folder routes, and the file is gonna be users route. So I'm gonna go to my folder routes. I'm gonna click here, new file, and I'm gonna name it users route like that, route.js. And if you feel lost, you can go to my YouTube channel and check out API projects. So that is that. And from here, well, we're just gonna bring express. So it's gonna be express, and we're gonna bring it from require, and it's gonna be express like that. We also want to bring a router. We want to bring router from express that router, and you can have to put parentheses. Okay, and if you feel kind of lost, you can check out into the Express.js documentation. You also have the Mongoose documentation. I'm gonna leave these links in the video. We also have the JWT, the JSON Web Token, and the hash, and the BCRYPT. So we're gonna continue. I have this router. Okay, I'm gonna export it. So it's gonna be module.exports, and I'm gonna export router like that. I'm gonna save it. Okay, and from here, what I'm gonna do, okay, so the error is gone. So let's see, let's go into Postman, or you can go into your local host. So let's check it out from here. Instead of example, it's gonna be users now. Okay, can I get users? Okay, so we don't have anything in the file. So let's go here. Let me check it out. Let me get a get request. Okay, we don't have anything. Okay, so now I'm gonna put in router that, since we are gonna create a user, we are creating something, so it's gonna be a post request. So it's gonna be like that. We're gonna put it's gonna go to slash, and the function that we are gonna be using is gonna be named, well, create users like that. Well, we don't have this function yet, but we're gonna put it here, and then we're gonna create it. So I'm gonna save it, and it's gonna crash because this function doesn't exist yet. But I want to create this function inside of a file that is going to be inside of the controller. So in this controllers, in this controllers folder, I'm gonna have a new file named users. It's gonna name users controller like that, controller.js. Okay, and inside of this file, I'm gonna have this function, so const, and it's gonna be create users, and it's gonna take request response. Okay, so it's gonna be an arrow function like that, and we're gonna have a res.json, and we're gonna have create users like that, and we need to export it. So we need to module that exports, and we're gonna export this function like that, create users. We're gonna save it, and now we can go back to our users.route. Okay, so what we are gonna do now is we're gonna bring that function. So it's gonna be const, it's gonna be create users, and we're gonna bring it from require, and it's gonna be, right now we are in the routes folder, so we need to go 2 levels up, and it's gonna be in the it have to be single quotes, it has to be in the controllers, and it has to be in the users controller. So I'm gonna save it, and now it's working. As you can see, it's not crashing. So let's see, let's go into users. Oh, this one, oh, this is a get request. So let's go to Postman, and instead of a get request, I'm using a post request. So now it's gonna be localhost 8000 API users, Let's click send. Okay, create user, so it's working. And again, my port is 8000, so I already did this in the previous videos. You can check out the API. You can check out the API project where I have everything here. So I also put my Mongo URI here, so that is that. And now I'm using Postman here, so yeah, it's working. Create users. Okay, so I have my I have my new routes. That is gonna be users route. I have my controllers. What else do I need now? So we need now the model. So I only have the example model now. I'm gonna have a users model, so I can create a schema and I can connect it to MongoDB, because right now, well, let me see if I have it here. I don't have it. No, I don't have it connected yet. So let me see. Let's go here. Okay, in models we are gonna go into this one, and we are gonna name it users model, like that. Users model.js, like this. Okay, and we're gonna start filling it up. So first of all, we need to bring in Mongoose, like that. It's gonna be Mongoose. So counts require Mongoose, like that. Require Mongoose, and now we're gonna create our schema. So it's gonna be name user schema, and now we're gonna set it to Mongoose. Mongoose dot schema, and here we're gonna put in our field. So we're gonna, let me see if it's right. So Mongoose schema. Okay, we have the text. Okay, so now in this case it's gonna be name, and we're gonna have type is gonna be a string, like that. We also gonna have require, we're gonna set it to an array, and it's gonna be true, and also add a name, like that. Below that, we're gonna copy this first field. I'm gonna copy it, I'm gonna paste it here 2 more times. This one is gonna be email, and this one is gonna be name. Okay, it has to be here. It's gonna have password, like that. So this one is gonna be add an email, and add a password, like that. So we have 3 fields now, but after this curly braces, we're gonna put a comma, we're gonna open a set of curly braces, and we're gonna put in our time stamps. So time stamps, like that, and we're gonna set it to true. So finally, before I forget, I'm gonna put in module that exports, and it's gonna be Mongoose that model. Okay, so we're gonna put in we're gonna name it the users model, and the schema, so it's gonna be user schema, and we're gonna save it. So let me see, exports Mongo the model. Yeah, everything is fine. So if we go to, let me see, metrics, and let's go collections again. So okay, so this is my full stack, and as of right now I only have examples here. I don't have still my model. Okay, so let me see, we have Mongoose connected example. This is gonna be user schema. Okay, but as of right now in the models we have the example model and the user model. Okay, users model. Okay, user schema, or users. Let's put a users schema. So this one should be users schema, like that. So let me see, let me double check on require mongoose. Okay, yeah, everything looks fine. So right now what we are gonna do is we're gonna go into the controllers, into the user controller, and here in create user, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a function name, a variable name user, like that, and we're gonna set it to, let me see, we need to, oh, it has to be asynchronous, like that. And okay, it's gonna be a wait, and we need to await for the user. We need to await for the user model. Well, we need to bring it first, so let me bring it first. So we're gonna bring in the user model, so it's gonna be like that, users. Let me see, users, we name it users. Okay, so it has to be users, and we're gonna bring it from the folder require, like that, and it's gonna be 2 levels up. It's gonna be in models, and it's gonna be in users model, like that. So now we have const users await. We're gonna use the user models that we have here, and now we can use and create, and we're gonna pass in name, let me see, like that, name, comma, what else, it was email, and then it was password, like that. Okay, so up to this point we have that. Okay, so user await, users create. Okay, but first of all we need to destructure it, so it's gonna be like that, cause we need to structure the name, the email, and the password, and we need to structure it from requested body, like that, and we're gonna save it. And if you wanna check that, we have the body parser object exposes various factories to create middlewares. All middlewares will populate the requested body property with the parse body when the content type request header matches the type option, or an empty object if there was no body to parse, the content type was no match, or an error occur. Various errors returned by this module are described in the error section, so you can check out this information in the express.js file. So let me see, we are gonna save it, and let's go into our collections, and let me check it out. It has to be in full stack. Okay, now I have 2 collections, the examples and the users, and let me check it out, and they are both empty. Okay, so yeah, and this one is full stack because that's what I use here. This is my Mango URI, and at the end I put a full stack, so that is that. So now I can go to Postman, and I can go into body, and I can go into the x-www-form URL encoded, and now I'm gonna type in name, let me see, I don't know, let me type in user one, so let me make a bigger one. So email, let's put, I don't know, user1 at gmail.com, and now the password like that, and the password is gonna be 1 2 3 4, like this. So let's send it. Okay, create users. Okay, so that's not what's supposed to happen, because in the JSON, here in the JSON we don't want to send that. We want to send user, like that. We're gonna save it, and let's do it again. Let's send it. Okay, and now I'm sending user1. The email is user1 at gmail.com. We have our password. As you can see, it's a plain text password. We are gonna hash it later. Right now we can see the ID. We can see this is the timestamps, the create at, updated at. This is what we did here in the model, in the user model, when we added timestamps. We also did that for the example that model. So we have that up to this point. If we can go into our collections, let's go into, this is MongoDB. Let's go into our collections. I am in the users collection. Let me see. And as you can see here, user, I have it twice. Oh, okay, so I did it twice. The first one was because I was sending just the JSON. I was just sending create user, but I sent it twice, so I can delete one from here. Okay, but we have the user one with the email and the password, but the password is not hash, as you can see here. So the whole purpose of this video is to hash the password. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into, okay, this is asynchronous. I'm gonna go below that, and let me see if I have it installed. No, I don't have it installed. So I'm gonna open another terminal and I'm gonna install npm install JSON. Okay, JSON web token, like that, and also BCRYPT, like this. I'm gonna save it, and it should be here in dependency. So I have .env, I have express async handler, I have Mongoose, and as depth dependencies I have Nodeman. Let me see, now I have JSON web token and also BCRYPT. Okay, so I'm just gonna delete that. Okay, so in controllers, in user controller, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in JSON web token, JWT, and I'm gonna require it like this. And now it's gonna be JSON, okay, like that, JSON web token. And also I'm gonna bring in BCRYPT. I'm gonna require it, and it's gonna be BCRYPT, like that. And what else we have here? Okay, so we're gonna go here, and we're gonna create the salt. And we have this information here, and well, here's how you install BCRYPT. And now we need to install we need to call in this function salt, and inside of BCRYPT we have a method called gensalt. So it's gonna be, we have this variable salt, and we're gonna assign it, but we're gonna await, since this is asynchronous. It's gonna be BCRYPT. It's gonna be BCRYPT that gensalt, and it's gonna pass in 10 is the default value, like that. And now we're gonna bring in the hash password, like this. And again, we're gonna wait, we're gonna call in BCRYPT, and we're gonna call in the hash method. As you can see here, we have the gensalt, and also we have the we have the hash method, BCRYPT.hash, and BCRYPT.gensalt. So in the away BCRYPT.hash, we're gonna pass in the password and the salt, like this. So now what we are gonna do is, here in password we need to put in calling, and now we're gonna set it to hash password. So we're gonna save it, and okay, we're gonna save it, and now I'm gonna send again this information again, but as you can see here, we can see the plain text password. So let's click it and let's see what happens. Okay, as you can see, we have the password, and now it's hash. And if we go to MongoDB and we go to collections and we go to users, okay, this one is the user with the plain text password, but when we send it again with the hash password, when we did with BCRYPT and JSON Web Token, now the password is hash. And that was the whole purpose of this video, to show you how to hash the password using BCRYPT. And again, we are bringing in JSON Web Token, BCRYPT, and we also have to create the user model. So we needed to create user's route, user model, and also the user controller. Here in the user route, we are using a post method here. So in order to create, since we are creating a user with the fields name, it was in our model, with the fields name, email, and password. Okay, and also we're using our timestamps. So we have that, and now we're using asynchronous, since we're dealing with Mongoose, and now we are destructuring that name. This name, this email, and this password, it all comes from our users schema, email, name, email, and password. So that is that. We are destructuring from the requested body, and now we are creating the salt, because this one has to be before. You cannot create the salt after we are calling. It has to be, the order is important here. So we're creating the salt, we're using await, we're using the BCRYPT package. It has a method that salt, the full value is 10. Then we have the hash password, we await for that. We have the BCRYPT, the method is hash, and we're passing the password and the salt, we're passing in the salt. Okay, outside of that, we have this variable name user. We are awaiting for the user's model, and again, this user model comes from here. This is the user model, but I brought it right here. I brought the user model from the models user model, and there is this create method here. So I open parentheses, curly braces, and we're gonna create the name, the email, and the password. And the password, if you wanna set it to the hash password, you only do the colon and then hash password. So now it's gonna be a hash. It's not gonna be a plain text password. After that, we close the curly braces and the parentheses, and then we're gonna do the rest.json, and we're gonna pass in this variable that is gonna be the user. So that is the reason that we have here. We have the name user1, the email user1@gmail. We have the password. That is a hash password. We have the ID. We have the create in the update. We can check out, I don't know, maybe a second one. So it's gonna be user2. Let's check it out, user2, and let's send it. And again, we have a user2 with a hash password, and we can go to our MongoDB, our database, and we can go into the users collection, and now I should have, okay, so this one is the one with the plain text password. This is without the BCRYPT. So this is user1 with the email, and the password is hash, and we have the timestamps here, created that, updated that. And then we have user2 with the ID, and this is the ID for that one. It ends up in 94. This one ends up in 92, and they have all different IDs. And again, the password is hash, as you can see here. And yeah, that is the purpose of this video, to hash the password.